is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Break. We're going to get this show started right away because we don't have much time. So let's just get right into it. Who was at practice? Who wasn't? What are these guys looking like?
Everybody but Anthony Brown and Joe Looney was at practice today, which I guess that sucks for Joe because I guess that means his back injury is not great. But all of those hurt Pro Bowlers were practicing today. So that's fine.
Cooper, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins,
Randall Cobb, Byron Jones, all there.
What does this mean?
That
playing.
we hope.
You hope they play.
There's no way to speak unilaterally about that. We'll keep an eye on the injury report. I guarantee you it'll say questionable for most of those guys.
Yeah. Out of those starters, who would be the one that most likely would not be able to go this weekend?
It seems like it goes back and forth. Like I've heard some people are like, oh, Lyle's going to play, but Tyron can't. Or Tyron's going to play, but Lyle can't.
I'd say Cooper would be the one that
I think
maybe not.
Yeah, and that's another one.
Because him saying I feel good, like I thought he said that last week, and it took 3 plays for him not to feel good and not to play anymore. So that would be the one.
And it's a combination of the quad, the ankle, the foot.
Yeah.
I think the majority of them will be out there. I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't. There's no way to speak confidently about this 48 hours before they actually kick off the game. Sorry, but I think
can't really do inactives. Right?
Well, I mean,
That's gonna be tough.
You can try your best. I mean, my gut, I think, says, I think Randall Cobb's going to play. I think one of the tackles will play. I think Byron Jones will play. I think Joe Looney won't play, so that's one.
I mean, Adam Redmond is now. I mean, he would be active and probably be your backup center, right? Adam Redmond.
Yeah, I mean, if Joe can't go, that rhymes. If Joe can't go, then I would say Redmond's probably active. Yeah,
and he's the backup. Nobody else plays center, right?
True. Yeah.
So okay, well, Looney or Redmond, there's one.
I would say, okay. I mean,
you want to try to do this?
Yeah,
it's really hard.
Right,
it's hard because you've got. What about Dorrance Armstrong? What's been his?
He had a stinger. He was out there today.
Okay.
I think he was out. I mean, he's been out there in a limited capacity all week, so that's always a good sign. I think the new guy will be inactive. If everybody else is Justin Hamilton. Sorry, if everybody else is ready to go, I don't know if you need him because you got Covington, Malik, Tristan Hill, and.
I would like to think Tristan Hill will be better than Justin Hamilton.
That's what I'm. Yeah,
like able to play in this game. Yeah,
I would hope
that would be really bad if Hamilton, who's not on a team, comes in and he plays.
Yeah, that would be bad.
He's inactive.
I would hope so. So Hamilton's out, Looney's out, Anthony Brown is out. I think Luke Gifford will probably be down for this game. Assuming one of, if not both of the receivers are up, then you're probably sitting a receiver, maybe.
I wouldn't sit 2, though. I would try not to sit 2 guys because with those guys banged up, I mean, at least one.
Yeah.
Probably keep Cedric Wilson up and maybe Devin Smith down.
Yeah. Which, that bit him last week. But again, like somebody's got to sit. So, right. And that was Cobb and Cooper were hurt in that. So if one of them comes back, you would think.
Well, given those,
how many does that get? And then one of the offensive tackles. If I had to guess, I think one of the offensive tackles will sit. So that's an inactive too.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Or Lyle Collins or Tyron Smith. I mean, I don't feel confident that they're both going to play.
Yeah, this is a tough week to figure out the inactives on a Friday. But given these guys, the ones that are injured, and you having a good idea of, okay, this guy might or might not play, what would be the area of biggest concern when it comes to the Cowboys and them playing this weekend?
To me, it's the you're saying just across the board?
Across the board.
I would say the can they get them blocked? Somehow, some way, can they get these guys blocked? Because the Eagles are going to bring a lot of pressure. They're dynamic in the way that they rush. They had 10 sacks on the Jets, which everybody should get 10 sacks on the Jets, right? And the Cowboys actually couldn't even get more than 2, couldn't get any steady pressure. So the Eagles are doing it right when it comes to rushing, and I think that they got to make sure they get that blocked. With all the banged up injuries that they have, I bet you'll see a lot of blitzes this week because blitzes worked last week.
I think I said this yesterday. If I could only have Tyron or Cooper for this game, I'd take Cooper because the Eagles did have 10 sacks against the Jets. They definitely have talent, but it's a lot like the Cowboys. They've struggled to get home. I think they have 14 on the season, and 10 of those came against the Jets. So, I mean, that gives you an idea that they're not terrorizing people the way they'd probably prefer. I don't think the offensive tackles are the reason why they've lost either of these games. Like I've said that too, this isn't an Atlanta situation where your tackles just cannot handle the opposing pass rush. But I worry, they're good against the run, and we saw what it looked like without Cooper last week. Like I don't trust that they have enough explosive playmakers to hurt the Eagles secondary if Cooper can't play in this game. You would like to think Gallup can step up, but feel a lot better if Cooper could go. So that's what I worry about is finding guys that can make plays downfield because that's how you're going to win this game.
Yeah. Now, I want to try to get through some of the questions that fans have been sending in before we get into game day predictions and all of that. So one of them is Jordan Lewis and his participation for this game. I know we kind of talked about him earlier this week. I don't know if it was yesterday, but what are your expectations with Byron coming back in and being able to play and all that? What do you see Jordan's role being this weekend?
Nickelback. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of being a playmaker. Why did I say that? That was stupid. I think he's going to be the starting nickel with Anthony Brown sitting out, and it's an opportunity for him to do something with it.
Do they sing that song?
Nickelback? Yeah,
no. They all those bands run together to me. I don't know.
Oh well.
I mean,
they do.
Nickelback and Coldplay and all that.
We don't have to turn this into a music
Air
podcast,
Supply.
but those are not the same things.
Aerosmith.
I'm
taking it to another decade.
Y'all are upsetting me right now.
Sounds like it.
Nickelback. They're a bad Canadian band, and it'll also be Jordan Lewis's job against the Eagles. Nelson Aguilar. Deal with it. I'm excited to see him get an opportunity. Yeah. Hopefully he keeps going the way that limited spots, but he's played well for 2 years now, and now he's going to, he should play 50, 60, whatever snaps. He's basically a starter this week.
Yeah, when you think about all the guys that have been active at corner, they basically have 5 corners if you count Goodwin. And so now with Brown out, and I don't think they're going to sign anybody.
I wouldn't be shocked if Donovan Wilson finds his way on the 53 for this game.
Who are we cutting?
Luke Gifford.
They kept Luke Gifford for the whole
training. They're not gonna get
training camp.
Okay,
he can't cut one of those guards now because
he was doing special teams work at practice. That's all I'm saying. And I think they think the world of C.J. Goodwin, but do they want him to have to cover people if it comes to that? I don't know. I don't know this for sure. I'm just spitballing here, but with Brown banged up, and again, God, heaven forbid, you get into a situation where Byron chases a receiver down the field for the first time and is like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know for sure, but I think they might feel better having that in their back pocket. Just something to watch tomorrow afternoon while you're.
I tell you who I would cut is I'd cut the defensive tackle.
The new guy?
Yeah. He's been on the street for 6 weeks.
He hasn't, and I don't believe he's subject to waivers at this point, and even if he is, whatever. Yeah, that's possible too.
He'd be my guy to just cut.
That's fair.
But we'll see.
That sounds like the best option.
If you got to cut
something to watch. They haven't done a lot of that this year because they haven't need to, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You might want that security blanket with 2 banged up cornerbacks.
Well, playing into the whole injury situation, here's another question. Is the lack of play action, motions, and different plays coming from the fact that they're lacking personnel due to injuries, especially at wide receiver and tackle position?
I heard a lot of people say, the stat that's going around is it's cut in half how much they're doing play action and stuff like that the first 3 weeks as opposed to the second, and people have responded like, well, of course they're falling behind by multiple scores. I don't buy that at all because they're still running the ball. They ran it all through the second half of that game, and the numbers will show you like the run doesn't have to be working for play action to work. Now, trusting your tackles to protect your quarterback, that's important. It definitely is. But I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? That's a saying. Like, you can do faster developing play action. You can do play action that gets your quarterback moving and thereby protects him from the pass rush. Like, Dak throws so well on the move. I would love to see some play action like that, like boot action, something that gets the pocket moving and gets Dak's feet moving. There's more ways to do that than just fake the handoff to the running back coming out of the backfield, drop back and sit and wait. Like, I mean, that's cool when you have protection, but you don't have to do it that way. So I don't necessarily buy that. I just think they haven't wanted to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you saw it working, that is one of the elements that we, or at least me, I keep seeing is they were doing things that worked for the offense. And then all of a sudden, these past few games, it's like, they disappeared. They get rid of it. I
get it. I mean, the circumstances dictate what you can do to a point, and falling into 2 and 3 score holes is never good. But, like, doesn't it kind of seem like when that, like, they're just like, well, we can't do that now. It's almost, right. They're probably relieved. Like, oh, thank God. We don't have to do anything fun now because we're behind. I don't buy it. Like, you don't have to just completely abandon that stuff because the game doesn't follow the script you wanted it to. Because guess what? Most games aren't going to follow the script you wanted it to.
Yeah. Now let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep answering some of these questions. Hit us at Cowboys Break on Twitter.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
The excitement of Dallas Cowboys football is back at AT&T Stadium.
The place is going crazy in Arlington, Texas.
Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live when they host their NFC East rivals, the Eagles, Giants, and Redskins, plus the Green Bay Packers and more.
Elliott works his way through and walks the dog.
Single game tickets are on sale now. Get them before they're gone.
First and goal, quarterback sneak. Prescott pushes up the middle. Touchdown.
Visit DallasCowboys.com to get your tickets today.
Back to the break.
All right, welcome back, guys. We're answering some of the questions that y'all been sending in through Twitter at Cowboys Break. Here's a question that plays into what Nick was saying yesterday about Su'a-Filo being a better guard than Connor Williams. In a scenario where we don't see Tyron coming back or struggling still with injuries, do we see the Cowboys actually moving Connor to tackle and then plugging in Xavier Su'a-Filo as a guard?
I think, I thought if that was going to happen, it would have happened last week with Brandon Knight and Cam Fleming playing. I thought that, maybe.
Well, with Cam not playing very well.
Well, right, but I thought that might be a situation where say let's put Connor out there at tackle, and then you can still maybe have your best 5 available, but they haven't done that. So I don't know if Connor actually played well at tackle when he was out there for like a week or a few practices last week or 2 weeks ago. So I don't think that's something they want to do right now. And signing Lyle to a long-term deal suggests that Connor is here to stay at guard, and so they're going to keep him.
Regardless of Cam's performance, if he was having to be out there replacing Tyron.
I would imagine Brandon Knight's a better tackle than Connor Williams right now.
Probably.
And so if that happened...
It's Friday of game week, and we haven't seen or heard anything that suggests that they're shuffling it. So I just assume they're not going to.
Yeah, I don't think
not. So. I mean, not right now. If these guys...
Connor's got his own issues at guard. It's easy to look at it and go, well, he's not as strong, but he's athletic, so he could play tackle. Theoretically, yes, but not, in like Dave said, in a short... and like on the fly, I don't think that's happening.
That's why, and I don't know if that would happen, but that's why you see stuff like that happen during the bye week, because it gives you more time to work at it from a physical and a mental standpoint.
Yeah. Now, here's a question of a guy that you have talked about, Dave, Jameis Olawale, and the way that they're utilizing him. Can you please try to put some sense into why they're not using him?
I can't, because they even did at the beginning of the season. He was running wheel routes. They took a shot to him against the Giants. He seemed like he was out there a lot. I mean, for a fullback, you're not going to get 100% of the snaps, but he was out there, and I don't begrudge fans who think there's some type of conspiracy theory. I don't believe it, but I get why you feel that way. Because there are just elements of this thing that look different. They're not using 21 personnel. They're not doing it with Jameis, and they're not doing it with Tony Pollard. I don't have a good answer for you as to why that is, but
maybe because all the production they're getting at tight end. And then you don't need him.
Sarcasm? Yes. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was like, is he messing with me right now?
Well, it'd be one thing if like Schultz was making a lot of catches, but you're like, you need that part of your, like, he kind of plays like a tight end sort of. I mean, he could make some catches out there like that, and
it really does.
H-back roll.
It, like I said it before the break, like it kind of feels like, when things don't go their way and they find themselves in an adverse situation, it's like, let's get back to what we know. Like, let's just do what's safe, which is pound the rock with Zeke and, try to take the occasional shot to Cooper or whichever receiver's out there. And, and people want to pin that on Jason Garrett. And, I mean, you can if you want to. He gets paid handsomely to put up with stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know if I buy it. I mean, Kellen Moore's got a role in this thing, and you can't call him the wonder boy when they're rolling after 3 weeks and just blame it all on Garrett when they're 3-3. But there's very little doubt in my this offense is they're still putting up yards. I mean, they're still like top 5 in the league, but it just doesn't look as creative as it did during the winning streak.
And it's so frustrating to me when I hear fans saying, "Oh, well, clearly Jason Garrett is stepping in and having a say." I'm like, why would you ruin things when clearly Kellen Moore was doing well in the first 3 weeks, and then why all of a sudden Jason want to step in and start steering things up?
Stepping in, because I actually was down there at the very end of the game when they were scoring that touchdown, a 2-point conversion. I was actually right behind them because they were moving down into our
we were
area.
there together.
And I actually saw Jason Garrett say, hey, like 4 times to Kellen Moore, who was like in the middle of like calling play, and he was like trying to get his attention and he didn't, and he had to like call the play. They don't have a lot of time. I don't think he's actually stepping in. Not at that point. I think he was trying to point out something, but it wasn't getting across. So
team looks bad. You need a scapegoat. Most Cowboys fans have been frustrated by Jason Garrett, even in the good times, and that's a natural result of it. And like I said, I don't feel sorry for him. He's paid super duper well to be that lightning rod, but I don't buy that it's just magically Garrett's fault when things aren't going well and Kellen Moore's genius when they are.
Yeah.
Now, here's a guy that had a pretty decent preseason, and people are now asking about him and for him, want to see him playing more. Donovan Wilson.
Yep.
What's up with him? Any expectations of us actually watching him getting some playing time?
Not really. And that, you know what? I'll eat some crow here. I mean, I still don't think Jeff Heath is as bad as a lot of people want to paint him to be. But my whole thing was, okay, but they're not giving up 92-yard touchdowns, and that's the risk you run with a rookie who doesn't know what he's doing out there. Like, that's why you don't put a rookie in that situation. But if the veteran starters are giving those up, then what do you have to lose? Like, that's unacceptable from the safety position. Like, that's your saving grace. Even if you're not great, if you don't get turnovers and don't make crazy plays, your saving grace is, well, he's not just giving up chunk plays that put the defense in a bind. Well, that happened last week, and it can't. I'm not calling for anybody to get benched yet, but if it keeps up, then yeah, I'd be down to try something else.
Yeah. It's like, what do you have to lose at that point?
Exactly. Like I said, like that's the one thing you're like, well, they don't do this, this, and this, but at least you're not just zipping down the field on a 92-yard broken play. Well, it happened last week.
I mean, Donovan Wilson did all that stuff in the preseason games and second half and all that, but who's to say he wouldn't do it if you put him out there? I mean, playmakers are playmakers, and so I think he's warranted that from what we've seen. But got to remember too, like the coaches know things as well. They know what where he's lacking. Mm-hmm. If I think that if he had showed them that he could play at any point, they wouldn't have kept Kayvon Frazier and all that stuff. Like, I know he was banged up, but they see some things too, and he might have some good plays on their board, but I guarantee he's got some others. But
and they've also, he's been back from that ankle injury since week 3. That's 3 weeks worth of practice where they have him on film and
necessarily trust.
And it's always a whole thing that you say, Nick. It's like, okay, we may be seeing something, but is that specifically something that the coaching have asked of him to do? We don't really know.
No.
They know.
But they do ask players to get turnovers and get the ball, make some plays, and he's done that as well as anybody. So he's not far off.
Well, let's take our final break. When we come back, we're gonna get into game day predictions for this weekend against the Eagles.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too?
It's right above the subway.
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the.
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox? The makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crock pot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True. They even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to the break.
Hey, free to play. Don't forget it this time. You got to be 21 years or older. You can win up to $10,000 in cash prizes. It's one of those free predictive games in the Cowboys app. Go in and guess all these things like how many yards Dak will have and Zeke will have in first half, and then continue to play throughout the game so you can rack up some point totals.
Perks.
Exactly. DallasCowboys.com/app.
Well, Derek decided to join us, so welcome, Derek. Nice of you to
Thanks for
come
having
in
me.
here. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now, to welcome you, please get this started. Tell me how the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles this weekend, and what's the final score?
Man, how are they going to beat the Eagles? Can you tell me yet who's going to play?
We sort of went over that.
You're kind of late to the party.
I
so.
know. I'm just saying, I need to know that before.
Some of the hurt guys will be back, and we just aren't 100% sure which. So take your pick.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess that most of those guys are not going to play.
Nah, I think most of them will play.
I think more will play than not.
Yeah.
I will say this. Last week at this time, we were saying one of the two tackles was going to play, and neither one of them played.
right.
So I think there is a level of...
They didn't practice.
I get that, but I'm saying I think there's a level of optimism that we're all operating on here that right now I'm not willing to operate on. So that being said, my suspicion or my guess for how I'm looking at this is I do think I get one of the tackles back. I'm not betting on Amari. I know he's out there limited. I'm not betting on that, but maybe he plays. So all that being said, I think that the Cowboys ultimately going to have to win this game on defense if they're going to win it. And I've been waiting for them to get a game this like that this year where this defense doesn't have a choice but to step up to win a game. I think they played that kind of game against New Orleans. They just didn't win it. But that's how the Cowboys, I think, have to win this game. If it ends up being, as you and I, Dave, said earlier this week, like we thought it was going to be, which is a 34-plus point game on either side, both sides, then that's how it's going to play. I don't think the Cowboys win that kind of game if all those guys are missing on the offensive side of the ball. So I think the defense is going to have to play extremely well, and that's how they win the game. All right, come back to me on the pick.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Come back to me on the pick. I still gotta think about that.
So Cowboys win because of the defense.
No, that's how they win. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say they're gonna win.
Nick.
I think Amari plays. I think Tyron plays. I think Lael plays. I think I said it in the Saints game. I didn't feel comfortable picking them, but I was like, you got to show me that you're not able to win games before I stop picking you. And then I still did it, and they lost to the Jets. So Eagles 27, Cowboys 23. I think those guys play. I don't think it'll be enough. I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Eagles will win because just like we're waiting for the Cowboys to come together, I think the Eagles are going to try to come together too. And, I don't have a good feeling about it. 27-23 Philly.
I'm going to preface this by saying that I absolutely loathe myself. I really do. Because, all week I was like, they lost to the Jets. There's no way. I'm not falling for this again. Prove it to me. Do this, do that. Everybody's hurt. And I was sitting at practice watching Tyron and Lyle, practice their steps and watching Cooper on the jugs machine. And I was just like, these guys are going to play and they're going to win. That's just, they are, because that's the type of stupid stuff that happens.
to pull you back in.
No,
you're like, you know what, this is it.
And I'm like, Amari's going to play, and this secondary's trash. Cobb will probably really help against this trash secondary too. I think only one of the tackles will play. I don't think they both play, but I think it's enough. I'm not, they're not going to play like this amazing game, but this is a bad Eagles secondary. Dak has a history of balling out against these guys, especially at home. Desperate team theory comes into play, backs against the wall and all that stupid stuff. And we talked, Jason Garrett has a habit of pulling these games out of his hat. He just does. What?
He comes back to life.
Oh, yeah. He's Michael Myers. He's going to sit up and grab the kitchen knife, and here we go again. So I don't like. They've given me every reason to pick them to lose, and they really have. And the fact that I'm about to pick them to win pisses me off. But it's just the type of thing that this team does, and I do think it'll be a track meet. But having Cooper will help, and they'll win 31-27. And I hate that just came out of my mouth, but here we are.
Have we heard anything about Deshaun Jackson? Where he is?
Not expected to play.
Not expected to play. Okay, so I know how I'm going to pick this game. I think the Cowboys will win, but I think it will be a low-scoring game. I think they win this game 16-12.
I think
it's going to be one of those kind of games where we're all just kind of like, okay, is somebody going to score? Like, what are we doing here? But I honestly think that's the kind of game the Cowboys have to play in order to win this game. I don't think I have a hard time thinking, even if Amari does play, I have a hard time thinking he is going to be his normal self. The amount of pain that he said he was in last week, for him to immediately think, I can't do this, it's hard to think that a week later he's somehow in good enough shape where he's able to run as usual and be able to play as usual. So that all being said, I think it's a slow-scoring game. I think the defense finally shows up and plays the game that people have been expecting them to play, holds them to 12 points. Cowboys get a 16-12 win.
Dang. Okay.
Dang.
This is tough. It's a tough weekend.
Just, you know what, like in my head, I'm like, if they make me look like an idiot again, I'll have a week to stew on it and we can like reassess the season from there.
Part of this is I'm just praying I don't have to sit on a 2-week stint of just this, of a 4-game losing streak, and just 2 weeks have to just listen to that and hear that and see that. Like, that's just, I don't want to do it.
If they get some of these guys back, they're good enough to win this game. Like, I still think they're a good team. They just decided to play like a bad team for 3 weeks.
With them having these guys on the field.
That's not true. Amari Cooper was there for 3 plays. Like, that was a big loss.
I mean,
that was a huge. That was everything.
Okay, I'm not just talking about this past game. I'm talking about previous games where you did have Amari Cooper. Even when Michael Gallup came back and you had him and Amari, it just still. They haven't been healthy together enough to where.
Call the L, Amber. Call it. Do it.
You
got a nice little 50-50 split here.
Listen, that's how I feel, but I cannot find myself freaking picking the Eagles to win against the Cowboys. I cannot stand the Eagles.
And yet, AG is going to be the maddest one of all in the press box when they're trailing 24-13 in the fourth quarter.
I can already see it. Walking to the elevator to go down for post game, and that look on her face, like,
you gotta be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, and she's just like that little smirk, like, these guys.
Yeah,
they probably deserve. If they lose, they probably deserve it. Yeah. So
they always deserve it if they lose.
Well, true, but but you know, like,
I'm glad you had the guts to pick against them.
Well,
Nick.
I don't love picking against them, but if one person or one coach comes up to me and says anything about it, I picked y'all to beat the Jets by 15. I picked you to beat the Packers. You lost by double digits. I picked you to beat the Saints by double digits, and you lost. So, like, like I've said all along.
You picked them to win against the Patriots.
They will beat the Patriots. I'm picking a win against the Patriots. Does that count?
That's a month from now.
Well, I like the dub on that one. But, because I said before, they probably got beat by the Lions 4 days before, but who cares?
I would have no problem picking against them in this game because they've done everything to deserve to get picked against. And to be honest with you, if this game was being played in Philadelphia, I would be picking Philadelphia. Sure. The fact that it's at home is one of the reasons why I believe the Cowboys can get the edge on what's going to be, in my opinion, an ugly game. So
you base a lot of things up on the stadium, the crowd noise, the weather, the lighting.
All that stuff matters. That stuff matters.
I'm trying to do this off the top.
Especially with average teams. Go ahead.
No, these games, they show up well in these games. They played well. You know, the crazy game last year, they got brutalized in 17, but they were missing a bunch of people. 16, they played well in 15. They lost.
You know what else, though? The Eagles play well in these games, too.
Yeah,
that's what scares me about it is, even
if we sit here and talk about it long enough, I'll talk myself out of it. But
that's also where I think both these teams, their defenses can be really good if they can get going. And so if you get into that mindset of, okay, both these teams are reeling, and if you're going to get one of their units really going, if their defenses get going, this could be one of those kind of games.
So you picked 31-27.
Yeah.
You picked 16-12.
Yeah.
I picked 27-23. Did you pick a score?
I'm going to go with 25-23.
Dang it. I was going to say, you see the theme going here. We got 4-point games all across here.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Whoever's losing the game is going to be throwing it in the end zone.
Watch this. This is what's going to happen. The Cowboys are finally going to be able to start scoring, getting into the end zone, and then we're going to lose because Brett Maher missed an important kick.
If I believed in superstition,
we're going to sit on that for 2 weeks.
If I believed in superstition, I'd be really mad at you right now.
Right.
But I don't.
I mean, you can say they lost because he missed a kick there.
But he was the only one scoring.
That's true. I can't get mad at a guy if it misses a 40 when he hits a 60 and a 50.
I can.
He hit a 60 and a 50.
Score touchdowns. It ain't Brett Maher's fault. Score
Jason
touchdowns.
Witten said it.
Yeah, he said it himself.
You can't win if you don't win gosh darn touchdowns. That's what he said.
He said gosh darn?
That's what I read.
Shouts out to Alex Lilly, our producer, for his hilarious interpretations of the censored words on those sideline videos.
That's awesome stuff, actually. That's really good stuff.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're out of time today, so hopefully the Cowboys have a good weekend and we can have a nice little bite of not talking trash about this team for 1 week at least. So thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. For Derek Eagleton, Nick Inman, David Hellman, and Amber Garcia, this has been The Break on DallasCowboys.com
Radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?